Labour voters.
Mostly Labour voters.
I was a member of the SNP, and I always voted for Socialist, but everything that was going on at that time, and I kind of hanged and I thought, well, there's a chance the SNP, we might get a mandate for an independence referendum, so I put my first vote in for SNP in 2011, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one that did that.
Of course you weren't, because that's how they're the majority government now. I mean, it was Labour voters that put them in there, obviously.
Aye.
Without a doubt. Because obviously the Tories and the Lib Dems weren't going to do it.
But I mean, Labour in the previous 3 years had fucked up big time, because they had their policies, their foreign policy, and their total shift to the right. I think a lot of Labour voters in Scotland just went,
yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Their politics, what they do is they try to get as much voters as they can, and then once they get in power, then they might drop some of their right-wing policies. But that never happened, because they were 13 years in power there before the Tories got in. It was them that started ATOS and all that, by the way. Labour. Fucking unbelievable.
I mean, it's a Labour Party only in name. Yeah.
Aye.
And I think a lot of the Labour
Which
Party...
is good for the SNP or else the Yes campaign, because a lot of people with a half a brain knows that if you don't vote Yes, you're fucking left. You'll be worse off. The country will be worse off, without a doubt. There's no two ways about that.
I mean, we've not even spoke about... I mean, there's so many aspects to this. There's
millions of aspects. It's like you're speaking about politics. I mean, you could speak about it for fucking ever. You know what I mean?
It just, to me, it's an opportunity. I look at my boy and I say, my boy's 6-year-old, Kieran Knight, and I look at him and I'm saying, look, I grew up. I was born in 77, right? I grew up in Drumchapel in the 80s. And Thatcher's fucking fire. What I mean, and I'm saying, well, alright, what's he, when he's my age and he's a boy, what kind of future am I going to want for them? And I don't want a future of a Tory government for them. Or
a Tory UKIP coalition, for fuck's sake.
Listen, right, we're all thinking, my point is to temper it in a nice way as possible, right? Where everybody on the pro side thinks, well, we're going to get independent, it's all going to be hunky-dory. If everything's going to be hunky-dory and good, then sign me up and fine. But we all know what type of country we live on. We all know the government we've got now with SNP. We all know that the majority, or there's a heavy, if it's not a majority, there's a hefty constituent who will still want to be unionist, and we'll have to deal with the aftermath of that. But that's cool. But the whole thing is, we're kidding ourselves on, right? That, you have to take this with a heavy dose of realism. I'm not being negative for negative sake.
I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying, right now, but Paulie, right, what you said there, right, I was having the same, trying to be hefty dose of optimism and positivity when I went through to Stirling, right? I took my 6-month-old daughter, the one who's the wee Fenian lassie, when she was 6 months, and campaigning to get rid of the Tories, because after 18 years of my life, I just wanted to see something different. And I remember waking up on that day when New Labour, before they shafted on us, right, and we realised what kind of fucking government it was all about. I mean, I was naive and fresh about it, and that's what I'm saying.
I was the same,
but I think we might be naive and fresh because we don't know what is there or what's coming, right, that if we think that it's going to be a bed of roses, if we think that we're going to wake up and a country is going to be transformed where there's people who are not going to be starving or people who are not going to be freezing themselves to death, if we think we're going to wake up in a country where it's not going to be ruled by fat cats, run by the Edinburgh establishment, run by bankers who are shafting us all, we're still going to face exactly the same fucking problems, and we're going to still be in the same fucking poverty. So what I'm saying to you is, what the fuck's it all about then? Because are we going to build a better future?
Of course, Tommy, but what you need to know,
20 years time.
These people have thrived for 300 years under that. They've thrived. But the only way to break that is to the landscape. That we're in this situation, and we've been in this situation because these people have thrived under the Union, we've been thrived under Westminster rule, and if we don't break that, then we're saying to your kids and your kids' kids, then, well, we didn't have the fucking balls to change it for you, so it's going to be down to my great-grandmates to try and do it the next fucking time it comes up. You know what I mean? And for me, that's unacceptable. Because I know what you're saying, Tom, it's not going to change overnight. Of course it's not going to change overnight. The political landscape can't change overnight. But the fact is, if you don't try and be progressive and take the opportunities, then you're voting for the status quo. That's what you're doing.
I seen a tweet on the night, some bird had put on a tweet, oh, that fucking Alex Salmon bastard. He just wants independence to make this a Catholic country. Fuck the IRA loving paedophile bastards. Fucking vote no. You know what I mean? That's the sort of people
you get people on your side saying they want to make it a Protestant country.
A what country?
A Protestant country.
No, that's what I was talking about though.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said somebody saying they were trying to make it a Fenian country.
Aye, that's better. No. I mean, things have got to change. I mean, honestly, I think that the people who have got half a brain are way ahead of these country neighbourings. You understand what I mean? I'm sure that they're just going to have to accept not having the fucking Union flag anymore. They're going to have the salt tire. Big fucking deal. And by the way, that means a lot to these half cunts a flag.
It's not about flag colours. Don't get me wrong. If we make the fucking Union flag obsolete, nothing will make me happier, but that's not really what it's about.
No, I know it's not what it's all about. But to them, as Tommy says, a lot of them think that flag means everything. Forget politics, forget your lifestyle, forget how much jobs are going to be in the country, forget everything, as long as they have a fucking flag. But there's not enough of them, Tommy, no way.
You only need to look at Ibrox at the beginning of November to see their jingoism and their flags and their emblems and everything that means to them. That is all they've got, because their politics are totally regressive. Their policies are a busted flush. Unionism and loyalism is a busted flush, and that's all they've got is their jingoism and their emblems, their past glories.
That's what it is. But as Tommy says, that is a problem. You know what I mean?
That's a problem.
That is a problem. That's
a problem that we need to cleanse.
But yeah, Tommy, I agree with you 100%. But what I don't agree with you is there's not enough of them.
Exactly.
What do you mean there's not enough of them, right? But there's enough of them to get enough political base and to have a
I don't think
base.
so.
And hold on, right? This is the point I'm making, right? I was putting all it together for, right? And I hear what you're all saying there, but they've got enough of them to get enough of a voting bloc, right? That's what I'm talking about, a voting bloc where they would have a bit of power. And God help us if they had any fucking power, not just a bit of power, but just even the smallest. But even if they had one fucking MSP or one councillor, it'd be one MSP or councillor too much, because, like Paulie said, it's a regression. But as part of the democratic system, they've got to have their voice. So it's probably better allowing them to have their 5, 10 or whatever MSPs. And
of course, that's okay. It would just be like UKIP or in England then. You know what I mean? Well, that's fair enough. They can have a voice and they can have their marches. What they would say is, oh, by the way, we're not going to vote that policy for the main party if we don't get to march along the street. But let them march along the street. But that, in time, that will fucking stop.
But what
I'm going to take this back. Like, Tommy knows, Kieran, right, that I'm a Sinn Féin supporter, right? Always will be, right? Now, a lot of my mates have went onto the kind of dizzy rascal side, whatever, and they say, oh, it's still like this, doing that. But to me, you've got to make progressive politics about reaching out and showing people that disagree with you that you can interfere for us. If we get United Ireland or whatever, and you can have your march. Just don't come down and fucking march through the streets and smash the windows and all that. You can have your march out at Shankill near bar if it's cool. But you don't need to it doesn't need to be all serious. It's all about outreaching to people. Outreach to people. So you can anti-fear for us. That is what, to me, being a Republican and being a progressive person is all about. I don't want to ban orange orders. Well, I do want to ban orange orders, but
let me say.
I want to ban it. I want to ban it. No through a press. I don't want to tell them, but I want to ban it through consensus. I want to make them realise that this isn't the right thing to do.
Just don't ban your dog outside the church.
That only comes through time.
I know.
Anyway, as I say, go take the first steps.
Speaking about as if we were independent just now. You know what I mean? The votes, the votes in 10 months' time, we're not even independent yet. But the thing is,
but that's what I was wanting to take it down that, because we're sitting here, so you got to branch down and see what's coming down there for people to see what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Wait, I'll ask you a question, Tommy. Right?
I don't know about that.
If you don't
There
mind.
you go.
Right. So you're talking about you don't know what's going to happen, right? This could happen and that could happen, right? So what are you going to do? Are you going to vote now?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm only putting this up. I'm positive.
You've got
for
to.
it now.
We have to
positive
vote yes. We have to get
okay.
independence.
Let's get it
And
happening.
then take it to fucking there.
Let's get
If there's
it
problems, there's problems.
Let's get it happening. That's what I'm saying. Let's get it happening, but we've got to be realistic.
You don't want to fucking stay the status quo, for God's sake.
No, of
No
course,
way,
but
man.
we've got to be realistic. That this is going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, and there's got to be a lot of people who've got to stand up and make their voice heard. Because
Well, it'll be good for your kids, Tommy. Maybe no us, but your kids will be okay.
Kieran, I feel as if you're taking it, you're inside my brain, taking the words out of this. Because exactly what you just said, exactly what I want to say it. I mean, we all love our veins. It's the Sunday to make a better life for your veins. That's just built into you when
I
you're
know
away.
what you're saying, but right, Kieran, you're saying it as well. I'm just being realistic, and I'm just pointing out that the people in power now and the type of country that we've got now is these people are still going to be racist.
They're not going to be happy.
But they're still going to be racist here. There's still going to be people who don't like the fact that people want to be Irish or have Catholic connections or Celtic connections. These people are always. That's not going to change in an independent Scotland. So
The only thing that will change is they'll have a few more quid in their pocket.
What was that?
They'll have a few more quid in their pocket.
I suppose. What were you saying there, Paulie?
I'm saying it won't change overnight. Of course it won't change overnight, but it will change. I believe it will change, because I mean, if you think of South Africa in the 60s, if you think of South Africa in the 60s, right? You think of South Africa in the 60s, would you have thought the white South Africans, would the people in the 60s thought that their grandchildren would
Great point.
walking about being disgusted that there was an apartheid regime in South Africa? Because that's what's happened. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So it takes time for these attitudes to change, and we know that their attitudes is wrong. And the South Africans, the Africans in the 60s, their grandchildren know that their grandparents' attitude was wrong.
Una M has just tweeted or whatever you call it, put on your site a great point there. You see it, Tommy? On the screen, Una M.
Retweet it, Tommy.
Where is it? No, it's on the what do you call it? What you put? This land is our land. Equals everyone land, black, white, Catholic, Protestant, straight, gay, fat, thin, etc., etc.
Democracy is our goal. And the only way you can get democracy in your country, in this country, here, is an independence. Because if there's times when every single person could have voted for Labour here, and we would have still been under a Tory government, and that's happened umpteen times. So where's the democracy in that?
I don't know if you know, Kieran, I was at, Tommy knows that, but I was at sea when Thomas Anakin was running government against the offensive behaviour bill. Right, I was out doing a lot of work in government and all that, doing a lot of canvassing, whatever, for plans against criminalisation. I was out in the polling stations, out in Hangman and all that, and the amount of people would say, "Oh, I vote Labour, I've always voted Labour."